Well, hopefully my you can hear me well enough because oh, sorry. I'm trying to get this to record so I can go over it for later use. You're okay with that, or?
Oh yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
My mic broke, so I'm working with just laptop audio. So hopefully it's clear enough to
It,
understand.
it's clear enough. I hear a dog barking in the background, so it's clear.
It's all good.
What type of dog is it? If you say Chihuahua, I'm gonna freak out because
I
that
don't
sounds
have a
ridiculous.
dog. I don't know where the dog would be. Maybe I have a cat next to me, but she's sleeping.
Aww.
Yeah, it's Hazel. She's was a stray, and we let her in. My mom loves cats, and she rents a room out of my mortgage paid off in the house and everything. So, but she rents kind of a room and just kind of pays the bills, and I pay the mortgage. But she loves cats, and I love cats too. But she feeds like 5 stray cats, and it's expensive. But this one kind of found her way inside after my other cat died at 18. So,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your cat dying.
I got a tattoo with a picture of her face on my
Oh,
chest actually, because I figured I whenever someone in my life passes or whatever, I like tattoos to kind of tell stories. So it's a little
I
tattoo.
all my tattoos have a story. They all do,
That's
and
how it has to be.
I think I was 15 when I decided I wanted my first tattoo. But
Hmm.
my parents obviously are like, no, you wait until you're 18. And then I waited until I was like 31 to get my first tattoo. But I'm
Yeah. How old are you
in
now?
36. I was
God, I'm pushing 30. I'm getting there.
Yeah, but I'm when people ask me if I regret getting a tattoo when I was younger, I don't regret it because of the way I was. I didn't even take care of myself. If I couldn't take care of myself, then I definitely wouldn't be able to take care of a tattoo. All my
Yeah.
tattoos tell a story, and I'm glad. Although right now I gotta let my legs heal up before I can get my next tattoo.
I got you.
Which,
Um,
uh,
I'll give you a little story. When I got my first tattoo, I think I was 16 or 17, probably 16. My mom had to sign like the permission slip to
yeah,
let me get it, and basically the only reason she was letting me get it was because my grandpa had passed like about a year earlier than that. And he was basically my father at the time.
yeah,
My dad was in my life, but he was an alcoholic for a very long time. And now we're good. Now everything's straightened up. But my grandpa kind of raised me, and when he died, last words he said to me, I was trying to be a model. God forbid. That didn't work out. But point
I
is,
used to want to be a model too when I was younger.
I think everybody does, and but his last words were, "Give them a show they'll never forget." And next day he passed, and I went straight over to the tattoo parlor and got those words basically tattooed on my arm. It just says "Never forget." And every tattoo when I was getting it that day, I was actually there, and there was a guy who was getting his tattoo. I guess renewed. I guess after 10 or so years, it starts to fade and everything. So you had to kind of go and get it adjusted and recolored and everything. And it was a giant iguana on his leg. And I went, okay, well, what's the iguana stand for? Because I've always believed that if you're gonna have something on your body that show your life, you might as well have a story. And he said, oh, well, I like iguanas, and I'm like, okay, well, that's not a story. That's kind of just a hobby or something. Like, it's okay to I didn't mind. I think as long as everyone has a personal, if it's not a story, if anyone has a personal connection to the tattoo, you're good to go. Otherwise,
I,
I've
I'm a firm believer that if you get a tattoo that has a story or a meaning behind it, like I have a blue lobster on my arm, and people are like, "A blue lobster? Why?" And I'm like, "My mom, it's her favorite color and her favorite food."
There you go. That's all you need.
And they're like, "But that's a stupid reason." I got a gothic rose on my chest, my very first tattoo. I always knew it would be a rose, but I actually love the gothic style, and I do consider myself gothic, even if I don't dress it all the time or anything like that. Gothic isn't just it's a lifestyle. It's something beyond the way you dress. So I got a bleeding rose. You can't get any more gothic than a bleeding rose. That's also got dark
Very
reds.
true.
And,
Very true.
And so I got that, and someone was like, well, that doesn't mean anything. And I was like, it does. This is, basically me saying be true to yourself,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this is the Gothic side of me. And now I have it permanently. And they're like, but you're not Gothic.
Well, you were.
I'm like, either I was or I am. I'm like, but yeah, I'm like, I dress. I'm like, you should see my favorite clothes. My favorite store is Hot Topic.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would own
yeah.
a wardrobe from them if I could afford it.
Yeah. Well, I was in that lifestyle when I was I think ages 13 to 17. I wasn't goth. It was Hot Topic, kind of shopping, but it was mostly kind of, you've heard of Avenged Sevenfold. If you're gothic, you know that.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so I was the Avenged Sevenfold version of Gothic.
Okay.
The belt buckle and all black and the M Shadows look with their
With
main.
me, I've always been the romance Victorian type, where that was splash of color, Victorian style, medieval style, that type of stuff. So it's
Yeah,
kind of hard and expensive for the style of goth I like.
it's a good way to look at it. Priced economically.
Yeah.
So it's good talking to you.
Got into talk about tattoos and everything.
Well, you gotta open with I don't look at it as calls and stuff like that or businesses. You have to build relationships and networks with people, and just that comes at the end of the day. You want to make sure you know that person, and kind of, I'd rather be friends with someone than just go ahead and say, hey, I'm gonna ask for this amount of money. I'm not that person. I was trying to be like,
it's better to build friendships and relationships, and then you have, like, how do I put it? It's better to basically bond with people, especially potential clients, because you've got to feel like you know them.
Of course, exactly. And another example before we get, I had questions and I had a little notepad of things I just wanted to ask, but I'll start with this. Um, basically, uh, damn, I forgot what I was gonna fucking say. Basically, you're right. It's about building connections. You have to. Oh, that was what I was gonna say. Okay, I tried to be a life coach before business consulting. I was trying to be a life coach. I was gonna go help people, and because I was always good at advice and personal issues, and I had at the time, I was doing public speaking and stuff. Finally, I got my first client. This was maybe 3 years ago, and it was someone who's having trouble. And, life coaches. You can make $100 a session doing that. And after an hour talking to that person, I've said, oh my god, I can't charge money for helping someone through a life crisis. It's a moral thing. It's kind of an ethical issue on my end. It's like it's hard to um, they always say, business is void of emotion, void of relationships in that sense. It's kind of supposed to be like, hardcore, just kind of, being on top of the person, and it's all about money. And,
It can be about the money, but, like, okay, so the first time I met with my therapist, we didn't get right into, what's wrong with you? Why are you here? We got into, who I was, about me, my
yeah,
past. She wanted to get a feel for me, and she already knew why I was there. She just needed to get to know me. And she even said, this is just get to know you type appointment, so I can see where we can go from here.
well, a very similar example. Number one, I'll open up and I'm honest about this. I'm bipolar, ADHD, a lot of things. I think I saw one of the videos that you did where you mentioned, kind of touch bases on that, and I want to talk about that because that was actually my favorite video out of them all, because I was going like,
Really?
oh, well, it was like, you were comparing mental illness to not mental illness, but just mental and emotional, just issues in life that I think everybody at some point has to deal with, and you were kind of comparing it to like, okay, well, this is how gaming helps me in that sense, and it was 15 minutes, and I was watching with my mouth just like open, like gate, like just wow, okay, well, that's a good way to look at things.
My therapist is actually using World of Warcraft to help me get over my anxiety of bridges because they affect me in that game.
See, that's the thing, and the thing about World of Warcraft, I did a lecture on game immersion, and I use that as an example because it's the concept of the best way to World of Warcraft, the reason why it's so addicting, I think, this is my opinion. I don't know if it's fact, but it's because it kind of gives you a sense of you're in a different world in a sense. At least that's how when I was playing it back in the day. I don't play anymore, but I used to play. I was hardcore. I was like uh, 8 hours a day on World of Warcraft for about 3 years. And it gives that sense of, like a different personality that you can kind of take on, a different role. It's kind of a role playing in that sense. And, it really, in certain scenarios, and I guess in your case, as an example, it's a perfect way to, kind of escape your own reality and escape your own head. And at the same time, kind of get the socialization part of things going, because it's a very social game. It's if you play alone in that game. I used to play alone, and I never had any fun. And then when I found like people to chat with on, I don't think Discord was around at the time, but it was just chatting via even just messaging. It kind of gave more meaning to it. And I've noticed that with newer games like Overwatch, Fortnite. Those are games I've played on by myself, and it's just no fun. But when you play with like a group of friends, or you find someone you connect with who's like-minded and isn't gonna troll on you or be an asshole, or that stuff. It's
I I just now noticed that, and I don't know why I didn't notice this before. Apparently, you took the idea from Trilo on why we should be thankful for video games. That was my idea that I tossed in there, so I'll have to remember to read that article. Yes.
I am sorry.
No. It's fine. I actually tossed them in there for anybody because I should show you this. I had a at the time it was 2 pages full of editorial ideas. And when I found out like a lot of people were looking for article ideas, so I told Jen, I was like, I have tons of editorial ideas, and she's like, throw them up in there, and I threw them in there, and I claimed in my drafts, like I claimed the ones that I wanted. The rest, it's like, there you go. If it doesn't have my name on it, I've basically said, here, have it, take it.
I didn't know the rules. I'm a newbie, but
No, you're fine. If usually the people who want it, like they'll just they'll like add their name to it, and it'll be theirs. So that's why I'm like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll just have to bookmark it so I can remember to read it later, because now I want to know what you said.
Yeah. Well, with DVS Gaming, I jumped on board 2-3 weeks ago, so I'm kind of new, and they're kind of long story short, they're kind of merging me from writing to additional areas of things. But with DVS, if you notice the posts, I have maybe 10 posts total so far, and they're all. I think I did a review. I did one article about like. I found out, I did do the research properly. It was something about I think the CFO of wasn't the Blizzard and Activision scandal. It was kind of something else, like the CEO of Riot Games. This was like 2 months old, and I wrote about it and just put update, and then I found out, oh shit, this has been around for like 2 months. No one cares. But everything else I do is editorials, and that's because I'm a psych major. I enjoy just kind of analyzing things, and that's my style of writing. So
I prefer editorials because I feel like it's personal. It's personal. It's more personal than just writing news. And don't get me wrong, I like writing news, but I love editorials. In fact, most of the lore articles that you see are mine. Are done by me.
I believe it. How many articles do you write in a week, as an example? Just out of curiosity.
Well, so far it hasn't, but there's been days where I've written like 4 or 5 articles a day. In a day.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So sometimes I can pump out articles like that. I did tell Jen that I apologize because I've been with DVS for about 2 years, I guess technically. And DVS shut down, and then they reopened, and I rejoined them when they reopened.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
but with me, like I told Jen, because she's my writing mentor, and I told her, I was like, I apologize, I haven't been, putting out the articles like I normally have in the past, or meeting the deadline. I'm like, I think I had like 2 articles last week, and 1 week I didn't do any.
Yeah, I'm falling behind too, and
Well, she told me that they're not exactly worried about me, but I guess there's some people out there who it's like pulling teeth to get them to write 1 article a month.
Yeah.
And she's like, besides that, you're working and focusing on your writing and trying to be better. She's like, so I'm not going to fault you on missing articles. Besides that, they also know too that in the event of a breaking news article that they can't find anyone, even if I'm streaming, I'll stop the stream to write the article.
Well, basically, in that sense, it's the quality versus quantity kind of mentality. You know, I'd rather put out 2 articles that are 1,000 words a piece that give valuable information about something or an opinion, or just once again, half my posts have been psychology related so far, because that's what I know. Video games, I really don't play games anymore, but I develop games now, and it kind of demean the experience of playing. But I think I've done 2 articles this week. I gotta fit 2 more in at some point. I have an interview that I did. I had to write up something about a game that it was, don't tell anybody that said this, but it was just the worst idea for a game ever. But I did the interview, recorded the conversation. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I like your personality, Catherine. You're fun.
I try to.
Yes. And on that note, I just, we've been talking back and forth, and kind of, I've been seeing progress, and you're doing well. And actually, I did see you sent me that Word document that has links to social media,
I was like, wait here, I'll just send all this to him instead.
Exactly. Did you write that up specifically for me, or is that already there?
That right there, I actually, in one of the Discords that I'm in, someone asked me to post all my social medias and everything in a specific channel. So I just kind of used that to format everything, and I was like, okay, there. And I went through that document, and I was actually gonna just copy the links, and then I said, you know what, screw it, I'll just send them the whole thing. I'm being too lazy right now.
Yeah.
And I'm actually thinking of posting that on my blog, so anyone on my blog has that information as well.
Let me send you something. This I wrote this yesterday. I would love to get you to this point, because it's the content's great. You have very the content that you're producing is very good. I watched several of the videos. Twitch, I can't help with Twitch. I'm gonna be honest. I'll be upfront with that. Twitch, I don't understand. I don't know what it is. I don't really know. I'm a millennial, but I have the Gen X kind of mentality where it's like, okay, well,
Hannah's been helping me out with the streaming side of things.
Yeah,
so.
I'm looking at it like I understand Facebook, Twitter, and then YouTube. I understood until they changed everything 2 years ago, and now it's just kind of like But let me send you something real quick. This is a kind of a cover letter that I was writing for a job application, just to kind of just having fun with it, kind of. But it kind of turned into something else. So I'm gonna send it as an attachment, and feel free to view it when you want. That's kind of basically, if you want, at some point, I can kind of help you get it a little bit more cleaned up. So same content, but its presentation does have a big impact on things. The psychology of it is, you have 8 seconds to really keep someone's attention, then you have 30 seconds to maintain it, then a minute to convince them that you're, basically within a minute, someone forms their opinion about you and what you're doing. And that's even if you can keep their attention, so it's
It feels. I will admit, it actually feels good hearing that use, because I started the I want to try to get to a point where I'm doing weekly, mental health stuff. But I got to the that's actually something new that I've included in my channel, is the mental health side of things, because I have ADHD. I did have a bipolar diagnosis, but my psychiatrist thinks that social services just kind of slapped that title on me to
They said that with me too, actually, to be honest. My doctor at present says, "Oh no, you're just you're a little crazy." I'm using his voice because he talks like he talks like Kermit the Frog, kind of. He's a great guy, but his voice is just like, yo, hey, yeah, but he's kind of going on the idea of, the medications I'm on, they help stabilize me, but he's going to try to wean me off stuff, because it's like, okay, well, he's realizing he thinks it might have just been puberty, kind of just like that, mixed with a little bit of anger, not to go too into detail about it, not because I'm ashamed of it, just because, it would take a million years to discuss the whole scenario, but there's a lot of misdiagnoses and in that
there are. So, but then I was like, you know what, my channel was originally, I originally started my YouTube channel when I went to when I was in college because my instructor wanted to teach us how we can utilize Twitter, YouTube, Facebook to promote ourselves.
Yeah.
And so at first I started uploading my schoolwork. But then when I would raid in World of Warcraft, they were always like, watch these videos. Okay, with my ADHD, you know how hard it is to sit there and watch a video
Oh,
that
I know.
has like a whole shit ton of shit on there. Not only that, I
Yeah.
have a learning disability, so there's a certain way you have to teach me. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, but where's the DPS standing? I don't see it. I'm like, what are they supposed to do? So they would just confuse me even more. So
Yeah.
I finally stopped watching videos and I would just tell the people, I'm like, look, I ain't watching a damn video. Give me a step by
Yeah.
step guide and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And
Well,
um,
it's
so I started my
organization
video
related
for
in that sense. Yeah.
I started doing videos for my channel that dealt with like how to use it and helping people out with games specifically for those. I figured if I could do a video that I could understand, anybody can understand it because learning disabilities, ADHD.
Yeah.
People was actually I had someone tell me to kill myself on. I made a video that my first video ever about depression, and someone
Uh,
actually was like, "You need to just go kill yourself." I'm like,
People these days are just, oh my God. I get a comment on occasion that I just go shit. I just, I'll clap when I read a Facebook comment the other day on my company page, and it was something that was just like, oh no, I retweeted, or I think it was Twitter, it might have been Facebook. I shared or retweeted depending on the network. An article when I gave my opinion, just was open and honest. That's kind of how I go about things. It's like, I like to be opinionated in that sense. And someone responded back, and I forgot exactly what they said, but I was just, it felt like almost like, okay, I was like clapping my hands, and I was just like while reading, I was going like, "You feel better now? You happy? You upset that you're late for Taco Bell? Like it's just like it was one of those things where I'm just going like, this person just not just it wasn't just a comment, it was like an essay that this guy wrote about all the things that were wrong about it. And I said, you're entitled to your opinion, that's given, but at least be nice about it, or at least try to be cordial. It's just that people have this tendency to kind of just when you're hiding behind a computer screen in that sense, it's very easy to say things that you wouldn't say in real life. And that's okay. It's good to be opinionated. It's just, it's hard to read tone of voice and emails. But I was just kind of going, just like, okay, well, feel better.
I've,
You got that out of your system. Like you're good, you're good to go now. So
I've gotten to the point now where every time I get a negative comment, because I watched one video where they actually talked about how even dislikes and negative comments help your channel.
yeah, it's in the
And
algorithm.
so so now I got into the point to where it's like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way, but by the way, thank you for your view.
There you go. There's a
I had
marketing.
one person, they were like, I'm insulting you, right? Yeah, and I don't care. I'm like, I don't care that you don't like the channel. Your view just helped my video go up
There
in
you go.
algorithm.
Yeah, there's a business thing. Business. I learned this. I'm doing my associates in psychology. I'm actually going into marketing, but I'm still in the associates phase. And there was last semester we did the marketing class, and one of the points they made was the worst thing you could do is ignore someone's negative comment, just or like go back and say something rude. The best thing to do is say, oh, like an example. A website has content on it that's incorrect, and someone comments and reviews it a certain way, and the best way to go about it is be cordial, be optimistic about it, and say, okay, well, I respect your opinion, and but this is mine, and that's the best way to go. Otherwise, if you ignore the comments, it kind of, number one, the algorithm will see that, okay, well, you're not replying to the comments or the post or whatever. And number two, it's also kind of just it gives other people who are seeing it a sense of, okay, well, this person's they're taking the negativity out of the situation. They're kind of reversing the roles. So so that's good that you seem to be in the good mindset. And like I watched your videos. You have everything was good. There's a couple things not going to go over in the meeting today. Today I kind of want to just discuss goals and see where we can go from there. But your videos were the videos, I think it was I forgot exactly what I looked at, but there was a couple things that were unoptimized, and those are things that are easy to fix, and I could easily help with that. But the videos themselves, the content was relevant. It was good. You have a personality that's uh a lot of people go on and do videos, and they just kind of they just kind of don't sound like they should be reviewing things. They're kind of talking about the game itself rather than the benefits of it, and bringing back the mental health subject. That was one video. When I saw that, I wrote immediately, went into my little notepad and just wrote, this is something that needs to be done like every week or something. That's a campaign in itself, because it's you're discussing a concept that not many people really discuss, which is I've never heard of this concept. I've been doing this for 8 years, and I've never heard of anyone ever saying, okay, well, I deal with my mental health issues with video games. And that's just that's amazing, because figure about 50% of the population has some form of mental illness. That's actually basically what it comes down to. And it gave a sense of like, okay, well, this isn't just someone talking about video games and streaming, and you were doing that, but you were also giving an insight into your own self, and that's part of the equation. So on that note, I kind of wanted to just discuss main question. What are your, we've touched bases on this, but explain kind of your goals for everything. If we were to work together, and as an example, what are you trying to accomplish? What's your main focus uh, going, as far as if it's views, if it's monetary, if it's to just kind of have fun with things, or if you want just subscribers, followers. I'm just trying to get a grasp of like the overall scope of what you're looking at over the next 6 months to a year. Like, what do you want out of the next 6 months, basically?
Well, let's see here. I do want to make sure that I'm having fun, but I want, at the same time, I want to know I'm helping people, giving them, pretty much at some point I'd like to be that, oh, if you want to know something about the extreme violence mod in The Sims, you go to either her or the guy who created it type person.
Yeah, there you go.
Where, like the mental health side of things, hopefully, I can get a weekly video out on that one. I want to know that I'm helping people. As far as the subscriber goal, I was thinking about that, and it's January. I'd like to, by the end of the year, I'd like to possibly break that 3K mark on YouTube. That would be, pretty nice.
As for small goals, that's how you had to do it. Small but steady.
Yeah, so I was doing the math, or I had my husband do the math for me because I'm horrible at math. That would be technically, in the next 6 months, that would be 300 subscribers in the next 6 months.
Someone else did that math. I said 50. You would need 50 a month.
Oh, he said I would need like 50 subscribers a month. I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
Well, it's possible. Basically, what I noticed about the as an example, the YouTube videos in specific, because that seemed to be the medium, the channel that you were focusing the most on.
Yeah.
Like there was a video like every day almost, basically, and I noticed the one thing I noticed was the videos were fine. It was the descriptions and the SEO part of things, search engine. Everyone knows what search engine optimization is, but it's basically, it was a matter of
if you know multimedia, you know what that is, and
yeah.
I know I struggled there. I feel like I struggled there. That seems to be a struggle.
Little bit of it wasn't bad. It was just it could have been optimized better, and that's something I could help with. I really don't have many YouTube videos. I'll put it that way, but I've helped. I've been, like I said, I've been doing this at least 4 years now, and I have a social media network that's dedicated to this coming up in the summer. And main thing to do is kind of just go over those each and every single video, kind of just optimize those things based on not just SEO, but just what people are expecting. For instance, certain titles, I can't give exact examples because I don't have I'll get that next time we chat. But certain titles, as an example, it was kind of just it doesn't have the keywords that you need to get those views. And in the descriptions, it was kind of basic, not to say basic, they were sufficient, but they weren't as detailed as it should be. You know, descriptions need to be around 300 to 500 words plus links, URLs, outbound links, inbound links, lots of ways to basically, that's the algorithm for YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. The more you link to other sites, the more hashtags you use, the more keywords you use, the more you know, the more the better the title is, even, and the better even the thumbnail image, as an example. um Everyone, you know, I think everyone at this point knows you can customize that, but it's, you know, kind of depends on the exact content and what you're trying to accomplish. And that thumbnail, you know, that's the first thing people see when they load it, you know, when they're searching for a video. And so there were a couple areas. So that was one area I thought we'd work on. That was the main one. The other one was the press kit, which I just sent you a cover letter, the PDF. I want you to look over that, and if you want, I can help you get it kind of to that point, where it's kind of a little bit more organized. I think you had the right idea, but it needs to be kind of structured in a more aesthetic way, because, you know, in terms of, you know, we're multimedia development here, and it's a field where, you know, it's not really expected to have, you know, all this crazy, you know, like crazy formatting and all that, but it does require a certain amount of professionalism if your goal is, you know, to even if it's not to turn it into a career, if it's something you want to do and something you want to like pursue and, you know, get word out there, the best thing you could do is kind of just optimize even the cover letter, and even get you know, a media kit, a press kit that just kind of showcases your best work, gives your goals, your, you know, your overview, summary, everything that you're trying to accomplish, what you've accomplished, your education. You know, kind of the thing about multimedia is resume is really. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it because I've had to hire people, and I've never once asked for a resume because it's just, in multimedia, people want to see portfolios and content. They really don't care about, you know, where you went to school or how you work. It's a matter of presentation, and
You mentioned that, and I applied for Canon, which at one time. Now I didn't get in, but there was only one reason why I didn't get in. But when I went in for the initial, you know, I guess the first part of the interview process is they talk to you over, they do a phone interview, and then you go in person, and you meet with them, and then you do a test. The reason why I didn't pass is because I the wireless. I didn't know about some of the wireless stuff, so I literally failed it by like 2 points. 2 points.
That sounds like something that's.
But one of the first things she told me was, she was like, "So I checked out your YouTube channel." I was like, "Wait, what?" Because I actually, on my resume, I actually have my YouTube channel listed. Because my career advisor from when I went to school, I have a career advisor that I haven't talked to in like God knows how long, because I haven't worked in a while. So, but they told me that since my main end goal was multimedia, that they would recommend I put my YouTube channel down because that can actually be used.
Of course, yeah.
And so when I did, she told me that that's the type of creativity they look for from their employees. I'm like, but y'all deal with printers. I was going to be going here for, you know, tech support, not
Yeah,
this.
exactly. And
But
the
it felt
point is,
good hearing that.
yeah, and the point is, even without the optimization, I mean, even with a select few views, the fact that you had so much content and so much, you know, the quality was good with the videos. There were a couple examples, the mental health one compared to games, that one that was specific. And if you need me to specify, I can send you the link to that one, because that was just, I was blown away. But the one thing I did notice about it was kind of I don't know if it was the webcam or the background. It was kind of hazy looking, and that might have been my computer, but it kind of could have used some not saying go get a green screen and lighting and all that. You know, people
I
try
want a green
to.
screen.
I can help you with that. It's actually very simple and very inexpensive. It's you can get a green screen set up with lighting for about $100 off Amazon, and you know, it's even if not a green screen, because that, you know, that requires some editing and some chroma key, and it's a little more complicated. Best thing to do is get just kind of a white, even not even if not a batch of, if you have a place in your house that's just, you know, like white paint somewhere, or just in general, something that's white, just get 2 lights and just set it up in a certain format, and then just test it out. Look at the video that you're, go on Zoom or try to test it out with friends and see what the video looks like, and just balance out the lighting. And what that does is it kind of reflects the background off of things, and the lighting reflects off that white, and it kind of makes it give this appearance of aesthetic appeal. That was the one thing. That was the one criticism I had for that. Everything else seemed fine, but I honestly think that's I keep doing the videos with reviews and how-to guides and all that. That's very useful. But the main thing I noticed was that was a strong point, because that's something not many people, at least from experience, not many people have done that before, where you're comparing you were open and honest. You said, these are the issues I have, and this is how I'm coping with it based on video games. And that's kind of, what I got into this field for, was kind of, like, okay, well, there's a lot of benefits to video games that people are just unaware of. Everyone thinks it's, video games make people aggressive, and, when you're done, it makes people violent. And certain cases, that's the truth. Columbine shooting, 1999, as an example, first real school shooting, that was based off the game Doom. As an example, they said literally, they quoted them before they, went and did all their horrible stuff. They said this will be a real life Doom. And that was where the media kind of started taking off on, oh, okay, well, video games cause violence and aggression, when it's actually the opposite. Video games, especially first-person shooters, as an example, they increase spatial navigation skills, communication skills, your social skills, your reflex, response time. Everything is just, this is research that people are going back and forth with.
There's so much negativity about video games that I also feel like people need to see the other side of it. There was one lady who was talking in a World of Warcraft group that I'm in, and she was saying that she didn't think about video games for her son. Her son is autistic, but he has one of the severe cases of it. Well, one day she had him go fishing for her while she was washing the dishes. And she taught him how to go fishing. But then afterwards, he started playing more and more World of Warcraft. And it's actually helped him. It's helped his motor skills. It's helped him. She said that he became a whole different person. Wow. And I'm like, this is great hearing about, things like that. I think it's inspiring hearing how video games help people and not always hurt them.
Yeah,
I am a firm believer that people who can't distinguish the difference between reality and fantasy should not play first-person shooters or any other video game, because they can't distinguish the difference between what's reality and what's fantasy.
Well, that was the point I was actually thinking that when you read my mind quite literally, is the fact that certain people, it doesn't really matter what medium it is, whether it's video games, TV, movies, books, even books. Certain people just, if you're violent or aggressive or angry, or you just have something about your personality that reflects, kind of a warning sign of, okay, well, this person's not, there's certain people that they will take that, aggression, what they learn in video games, first-person shooters, as an example. Every school shooting so far has been correlated with some sort of video game or music. Marilyn Manson was blamed for 12,000
like I can't stand the guy, but that's bullshit.
But the point is, they
I still say it's bullshit. He was blamed for, I'm like,
he
it's not like he said, hey, go do this.
Yeah, it's just, the point is, it depends on the person, but majority of people, they get so much benefit out of out of video games. And it's just, there's so much research that's left to get to. I mean, they're just tapping into it as of like past 5-10 years. They're just learning that, all these studies, and now that there's there's more advanced ways to kind of test brain activity, and more research going on with video games. And now more than ever, as the industry doubled in value in the past year,
they have video game therapy for a reason.
Yeah, and I believe that's something that, to be honest, that kind of brings me to a good thought. that might be kind of the hook that we could run with here. Because once again, I haven't really researched this, but there might be, I have there's a 99% chance, small margin of error that it might not be good, but there's a 99% chance that, if you did even a weekly video of, and I could help you develop content ideas if you need, but just going over in videos and, setting up a good setup for videos so that you could do that and have a good mic and a good webcam and a good, just lighting.
I have my snowball.
Snowballs are great. I don't have one because I'm OCD and I don't like the look. It's too clunky for me for some reason.
You're OCD. I have a mild OCD. It's like a very minor form of it, but I also have something severely that's actually on the OCD spectrum, trichotillomania. It's annoying.
What is that? I've never heard of that.
A leg pulling disorder. I mean not a leg pulling, hair pulling.
Ah, I got you.
And with me, like, I will pull the hairs out of my leg. I will dig in to the point to where, like, I have scabs on my legs, and I have scars because of it now. After I got pulled off from the Seroquel.
Oh, sir, yeah, that was.
Then I developed the trichotillomania, which the psychiatrist believes that may have been there all along, just never.
This was masked by the Seroquel in that sense.
Right, but when I got pulled off from Seroquel, then because it was making me sick all the time, I was 20% lightheaded. Now, as a result of the Respirol that I was on, I now have a permanent version of hypotension. So my blood pressure drops. So if I get too hot, if I'm doing a lot of activity, then I get lightheaded and have to sit down.
In other words, your best chance in at really making a grand entrance into the world, which you're at the growth phase, but the maturity phase is next in the product life cycle. You're the perfect I think the perfect kind of person to be a spokesperson for that kind of that mentality. Video games are they do more harm than good, and there's so much that you could do. When I'm done with this, I'm literally getting a job about 10 topics of just things that have to do with that, and I'll send you some stuff. And
hey, I'm down for any ideas you have. I use my planner. So, like, if you give me an idea, I'm like, okay, let's find the next available spot. I have things. I'm thinking of taking a couple weeks off from actually streaming so I can focus on putting up, so I can focus on getting, because I realize I should have had a Sims video released today, and now I feel absolutely horrible, and it's bothering me that I don't.
Don't feel bothered. It's...
So I feel like I should at least get in there and see what I have on my computer, edit what it needs to be edited, upload and schedule things, and just kind of sort of focus on that for the next week or two.
Well, first off, just in case I forget, because my memory is awful. I get that from my mom, but first thing I want to... Yes, I'm 30 and I can't do more than 2 classes at a time because I just can't cram that way. But basically what it comes down to is the number one, I think this was the main question. I saw you had web design and graphic design experience. Editing wise, what do you use to edit with? What programs, and are you sufficient with them, or?
I have Premiere Pro. I also have Sony Vegas Movie Studio. I prefer Sony Vegas Movie Studio, and here's why. It's a little bit more of a simpler program.
Yeah.
Premiere Pro, I love Premiere Pro, and I actually learned both programs in school. My problem with Premiere Pro, though, is that at one point in time it got to where I use Bandicam to record my videos. And so when I record my videos there, it turns them into AVI files.
Yeah, that's
I actually switched it so it does MP4, but for some strange odd reason, whenever I record a video from a video game and I put it into Premiere Pro, it only brings over the audio. It doesn't actually bring over the video. Even if I put the whole video clip in there, it only brings... Yeah, so I finally said, screw it. I upgraded my Sony Vegas, which only cost $40 to upgrade it.
Yeah.
And so I use that primarily. I will use Premiere Pro, but that's more like my backup. If I don't know how to do something in Sony Vegas, then I'll do what I can there, and then I'll move it over, and I'll finish it up in Premiere Pro.
Well, do me a favor, make a note of this and or write it in the chat or just something. Send me an if you can, zip a file of the video and the audio, the AVI or MP4, whatever format it comes in. Send it to me. I might be able to see if there's something in the settings because on mine, I had that same problem, and it was just it was a couple tweaks where it was basically the video format was, it was there, but I was having trouble kind of in the same manner, and I just kind of
so you were having the same issue I was?
Pretty much, but I was able to fix it. It was a couple things in the settings in the properties where it was kind of just uploading the video was uploading, but it was uploading with low quality, and I had something, I forgot what it was in the properties. I had something checked that shouldn't have been checked, and once I unchecked it, everything just went perfect.
Okay.
So maybe send me a zip of just a couple videos, the raw formats with if it's video or audio combined or if it's separate, and maybe I'll be able to just see, just out of curiosity, maybe I'll be able to figure out why it's doing that.
Okay.
And that'd be good. So
I just like having the capability of having more than one program.
It's necessary, and they all have.
I consider myself a basic. Like, I don't know the advanced stuff. I actually just figured out in Sony Vegas how to zoom in. Like, if I just want to show one portion of it and expand something, I figured out how to do that finally.
Yeah, that's all you need to do. I have a movie. Let me hold on real quick. What's it called? Damn it, where'd it go? I downloaded a program because I didn't have Creative Cloud at the moment, so I downloaded this really simple, but it was really awful. This little Movavi Video Editor 15. I'm just looking at my apps, and
I've heard of that one.
It's decent, but it's very hard to. My game coming up, I did the trailer with that, but it's good for certain things, but it's very hard to kind of like edit. With Adobe Premiere, you can kind of split, the clips up, and you can kind of get things. I use Adobe Premiere mostly for, not, I guess, video vlogs, basically, not blog. You know what I'm talking about, where you're kind of setting up like the webcam and stuff, and you have lines that you have to memorize, but you can't remember the 50 minutes worth of content, so you just kind of cut back and forth, and you kind of just make it look like it's one solid video. But you can't do that with programs like Movavi and stuff like that because they don't really have a feature where you can kind of split and just go, okay, well, I'm going to delete this particular, this section of frames here to make it look like, it's a different format. So maybe that's something I could help you out with. But
okay.
You seem to be on the right track. Your goal seems to be less monetarily based and less quantity based, which is good. It means that you're not looking for like tons of views. You're looking more for quality, and I think the main objective here is kind of over the next 6 months to a year. If you're, would you consider? Do you have like three specific? Let's just say if you had to decide three goals to accomplish in the next 6 to 12 months, what would that be? Out of curiosity. You could take time to think about it and discuss it after. Just that's a question that's important because that will allow me to kind of figure out, how to go about doing this and what needs to be done. So
okay.
That's something. And do you have a website? That was the other thing. I have a notepad just filled with stuff. So.
I have a
because it's like web design, so.
I actually shut down my portfolio because I'll explain why. I was using GoDaddy and I actually tried my own little graphic design business, but never took off. I basically paid $50 to the city for a business license for it, and never made any money out of it. Never got.
Got you.
So, but when I looked into advertising, I didn't have the money for advertising. Can't make money to advertise if you're not getting people, but you have to advertise to get people. So I figured, yeah. So I
No,
went ahead and I shut that down. I've been meaning to add. I've been working on trying to see if I couldn't get my portfolio in with my personal blog and just kind of add like a little portfolio section to it. But I've just been trying to figure out how to implement that in my current template without changing my blog template.
Okay. I use a program called MakeAnEasyWebsite.com. It's $20 a month, and it's very animated. I'll send you the link to my in the chat. Hold on.
Are you sending me webs? I did check out your website, the creative.
Gaming.
I think it was creative something.
Oh, Creative Waves. That was a landing page that I never really. I kind of just threw it together. Actually, that was kind of my least favorite. It was like It explains what I do, but it's my least favorite website of them all. Aside, but I have one that I'll show you. The one I can't seem to. This isn't letting me type for some reason. So, long story short, I think that we're off to a good start. I want to help, and I don't want to, I'm not. I do this to help people. If there's money involved, it's always kind of a workaround budget. In terms of okay, well, I like looking at things as milestones. Like, okay, well, this is what you want to accomplish. Okay, break that down into steps, and then figure out how much all of that is worth. So just I'm not going to name any pricing. This is a kind of just a discussion between us, just to see where and it seems like we're compatible, and we seem to have a lot of similar uh, aspirations as well as similar personalities. In that sense, you seem very compatible, and I commend you because the videos that I have watched, you have a very your persona and your personality is very it's very well versed. You have a voice and a voice for what you're intending on accomplishing. You really do. It's just a matter of optimizing everything and kind of getting kind of a press kit organized and getting a little bit more emphasis on descriptions and SEO kind of content. All very basic. And to be honest, I'd rather look at it as down the road once I kind of get a better feel for things. It would be better to actually teach you how to do it rather than do it myself, because that would save you money, and that way you can just go ahead and learn how to do it the right way, to make sure, just to optimize things, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is
I was just writing down an idea that I had for.
You know what? You're a 1 in a million. I'll put it that way.
While we were my brain, you mentioned having ADHD, so you know how our brains work.
Yeah, the brain goes.
While you're talking, I'm thinking at the same time about other things too. It drives me nuts. And I'm out of Vyvanse, so my brain's going all sorts of different directions.
Oh, I'm on Adderall. I've tried Vyvanse and it worked, but it didn't last as long. I'm on Adderall right now for ADHD. And that works well for me. It's just I'm beginning to get the tolerance and everything after you're on something for a certain period of time.
God. I was on Ritalin from age 5 to the 10th grade. And they finally pulled me off from it in the 11th grade. And because I built a tolerance to it. Like, I was on this for how many years? Yeah, exactly. You're going to build a tolerance.
Exactly. The body, it's basic neurology and psychology and all that. It's just the body, it starts to... It just, it adjusts and it starts to realize, okay, well, this is doing this. Okay, so I'm gonna make it so that it's kind of the body's way of maintaining homeostasis in that sense. And after a while, things just...
That's why I only take I used to take melatonin every night to sleep.
I do that every night, actually.
But I have found, like, I'm up to 10 milligrams. Nothing less than that works for me on melatonin anymore. But after like a week and a half, it stops working.
Yeah.
So I get tired of that. I finally said, you know what? I will just stop taking the melatonin every night. And unless, like, I took it last night so I could actually fall asleep, because I have a habit of not falling asleep until like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, no. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I lay down, I take melatonin, and I was able to fall asleep and wake up at 11. I set my alarm for 10, but I was like, yeah, I didn't hear it. Then at 11:30, I hear it. I was like, I gotta get up.
I'm sending you a text about, it's a one I use. It has melatonin, but it actually
Do you
is.
use dream caps?
What? Sorry.
Dream caps.
No, I don't.
Okay, I used to use dream caps, and those worked those worked well.
Oh, I've done Dream Water. That was never effective for me. I use iChill, which is, I get it off Amazon. I use it nightly, because I can't ever fall asleep. Once again, bringing back the topic of ADHD and medications and all that. With Adderall, in all technicality, it is a stimulant, and it's basically just amphetamines. It's speed in a sense. I don't get that.
My dad said that is so funny because he's like, it is so funny that they give people ADHD basically.
I know, right? Like,
he's like, and it slows them down.
Yeah, some people it slows down. I was, short story. 11th grade. I first started on that. I was having trouble with mental health issues, and I was just a different person than I am now. But Adderall at that point in my life it would give me just tremendous amounts of energy, to the point of like it was almost mania kind of state of mind. And I met a kid in my cinematography class, and he said, "Oh, I'm on Adderall." And I said, "Oh, well, then why are you so like just laid back?" And he said, "Because I was always all over the place. My pencils would be like fidgeting. I'd be, like at the time I was adjusting to it." And he said, "Oh, well, Adderall actually slows me down." And I said, "Huh? Maybe I don't know if I have ADHD or if I'm just." It was like, I guess it's meant to.
I was diagnosed when I was 5 because I would bark at the teacher.
You would what at the teacher?
I barked at the teacher like a dog.
Yeah, that's a sign for ADHD. Yeah.
If they said, if they asked what 2 plus 2 was, I'd bark 4 times. I would. And
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because I.
Oh no, I laugh about it too.
I've been in not just studying psychology, but I was diagnosed with everything, about a million different things when I was 14 years old. So I get it. And I'm learning to it as time goes on. You learn to deal with it. You learn your limitations, and you learn how to adapt to certain situations.
I also have videos. I don't know if you ever ran across them where I talk about key binding versus clicking in video games.
That makes sense. I can see that.
I found like people tell me that using my disabilities as a reason to not keybind is beyond ridiculous. But you should see my character screen on World of Warcraft. I have like 10 or 11, high level characters. I don't remember everyone's, things. I have to have it a certain way. I guess that's where my OCD kicks in right there. I've been playing World of Warcraft for a while now, and to learn how to basically unlearn everything that I've already learned, it's overwhelming for me. I can't do it. And so I'm a clicker, like through and through. I'm a clicker. I will gladly tell people I click. I'm not key binding.
Even if it takes an extra couple seconds to move the cursor over to I guess what you're saying.
Yeah, and my motor skills, like I can be very fast when I use like voodoo and things like that, but my motor skills aren't exactly there, which is why I don't tank, because I'm a lot slower than other people.
I was always a hunter, to be honest. I always use the
right now that's my main as a hunter because they're so easy to play.
Not just easy to play, but it's also very I guess for individuals who are more tanking. I tried my best.
I have a tank, but I don't.
I'm not well with that. And then priest. I think there's mage. I forgot all the terms, and there's shamans and stuff. And those I've tried every one of them. Hunter was the one that stuck out with me. So I would always go into like I think they had the Death Knight, I think it was called, when they.
Yeah, Death Knight.
I don't know if that was a hunter role or not. There was some role there that was very similar. I'm more of the backup kind of support, not healing, but like kind of in the back, just more stealth.
DPS, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah, damage.
But
DPS.
it seems like you prefer the ranged, you know.
Well,
I'm
it was
gonna stand all the way back over here.
I think the Death Knight. I think that was one of the roles that I used because it was kind of like a mixture between. It allowed for that tank feel, but at the same time, it was mostly like DPS. It was kind of like with Overwatch. I play Soldier 76. If you've ever played Overwatch, and that's the only character I could do because he's just main DPS. He's middle ground. You know, he's in the background, kind of just shooting sporadically, causing all the damage while the tanks are doing their job, and you know. Long story short, I gotta get off. If you don't mind. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of. No, I just I'm
I go
noticing
off on
that.
tangents. My apologies.
No, I do the same thing.
It's you know what?
but
Let's blame the ADHD.
yeah, it's part of the territory. But basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna consider yeah, I'm gonna go over this interview, little or whatever we want to call it, and if you can send me 3 6 month goals that you have, and just kind of make them simple. Just like, okay, well, I want this many subscribers, or I want this many, you know, just basically outline kind of what you feel would benefit you the most, and then I'm gonna kind of go review over your over the document again that you sent me over the YouTube videos and everything, and then we'll figure out you know what needs to be done, and we're gonna kind of base this on milestones in terms of okay, well. Instead of doing monthly or hourly, and let's kind of test this out first. I don't like charging a lot of money for people. I can't I like helping people. I don't like charging to help, but at the same time, I'm trying to break into multimedia consulting, and you know, it's just you know, it'd be nice to make even 50 a month off helping someone for you know like 10 hours a week. So,
Oh yeah, and
yeah,
that's why I said like I'm at least you know I'm willing to discuss prices. I still because my husband's the only one that works because with my hypotension I can barely like I put it
gotcha.
this way, my doctor's given me a temporary disability placard so I
Mm,
can park in disabled parking lots. I can't even walk around Walmart for 5. I can't even walk into Walmart without getting a one of the writing carts. And it's really sad.
well,
When people
it's
look at me like, "You really need that?" Yeah, I kind of do because if I walk all the way to the back of the store, I will collapse before I get there.
yeah, but no, I know the feeling.
So,
How long have you had that diagnosis where you're having trouble with in terms of that kind of stuff?
um, unofficially for about 2 years. For
Was there
about,
any reason behind it, or it just kind of
uh,
occurred?
it just kind of occurred.
Okay.
Like, it started to get. They think that it's from the Respirol, but they can't prove it. Like, they've done every other. Like, I've been to a cardiologist. I'm seeing a kidney doctor. Kidney doctor's evaluating if I need medications or not. Speaking of which, I have to call him on Tuesday.
Yeah, write a note down. You're like
Yeah.
need to. You should see my desk right now. There's about 15.
She's had
I,
all sorts of tests,
yeah,
and it's like, okay, we really don't know what is causing your hypotension. Now, the kidney doctor said that there are tons of people who have low blood pressure, but and it's perfectly normal for them. He said that we don't normally worry about it until it starts causing a problem. Since
exactly.
I'm getting lightheaded, or like I had stood up. I went to take clothes out of the dryer, and I got severely lightheaded and out of breath, and I had to go lay down just
Yeah,
by taking clothes out of the dryer.
when it becomes a problem or not, it becomes a problem when it starts to interfere with your life. That's how I like to look at
Yeah.
it. It's like
So,
so.
as far as my YouTube channel goes, would I like to make a living doing it? Sure, I would. I would love to make a living doing it. I would love to be getting enough. I actually just checked my Google AdSense account,
Okay.
and I'm super surprised because normally on average, I make normally on average, I would see like around $25 to $30 in there, every four, like every month, because I check it
Yeah, I was
monthly.
like that too. I never really put too
But
much money into it because
but
it's
then, so I would get a check like every 3 or 4 months. I just checked it. I got a check last month, right, which I used to buy my new monitor. I just checked my balance. There's $72. I was like, holy crap.
yeah, I know that happens. They sneak up on you.
Yeah,
You're like, okay, I'll do $5 a day. That's no
yeah.
big deal.
Now,
And a
like,
month later, it's like $100, and you're going, oh shit, I
yeah.
can't. like,
Now,
and
would I
and
like to make a living doing YouTube and Twitch? You bet. I would love to, but I don't want people to think that's my main goal. I want my main goal to be I'm helping you. I'm giving you a service. I'm letting you, I'm helping you with, these issues or these problems. That's what I want. You know, it really upsets me when people are like, well, don't you make money doing YouTube? Well, I do, but I don't care about how much I'm making. I don't care if you're donating to me or giving me money. I don't care about any of that stuff because I started my YouTube channel to help you. I started my YouTube channel before monetization was even a thing with YouTube.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there are, off the top of my head, and I'm gonna do some formulating. I got, today's kind of like my math homework day, I guess you could say. But tomorrow I have nothing to do. I'm gonna I honestly think that there is, and I've seen this happen. I've helped one or two people do this, where it's kind of like, okay, use what you can to help people, but at the same time, while helping them, there are ways to make a living out of it, even if it's not, it might not be a lot of money, but there are ways to do both, where you're helping someone, and at the same time, you're able to find a way to make money. I'll give you an example. I had wasn't, I guess I don't know what I was to him. I guess I was more promotion or just kind of involved, but it was musical artist, great rapper, Eminem as kind of like, he had all the skill. It's just, music and multimedia in general, it's so competitive to get things going, and it's just, it's at this point, it's kind of almost based on chance. But long story short, he basically what he ended up doing is, he tried everything and it just didn't work. But he was, every now and then, he'd launch a CD after he had like 32 CDs launched, albums or whatever. And finally, one album, he came to me and he just said, "No, dude, fuck it." And he just said, "Okay, well, you know what? The music's free. You can download it off my website if you want." And he had a little PayPal donation button, and it was just like, he said, "If you want, donate something, give whatever you want. If the music helps you, or you like the music, give me whatever you can. Give me $1, give me $2, give me $5, give me $100. If it doesn't give you any benefit, enjoy the free music." It was kind of like, he was just getting his art form out there, and getting his message in that sense out there. And he didn't make much off the donations, but that was because, excuse me, that was because of circumstances that kind of occurred. He was, he had a couple of issues, and he was trying to get back into school and stuff. But there are ways to monetize while at the same time helping people, whether it's, helping them through a tough time, or helping them through, helping them with a video game in that sense. There's ways to do that in creative strategies. So I'm going to be doing some brainstorming, and I'll, when we touch bases again, we'll discuss, that, and what I think would be the best way to do this. And I think, it's best to do milestones in terms of, okay, well, this month I want to get this, this many additions. I think your husband, that's it, 50 a month.
Yeah, he said that about 50. If I got 50 subscribers a month, then that would get me to breaking 3K by the end of the year.
And 50 subscribers a month consecutively, that also boosts the algorithm in YouTube, so you're going to be at the top or higher slots, actually.
Yeah,
So.
he told me that it could be about like two, that would basically be 2 subscribers a day.
Okay, we could work on that. And I'm gonna think of. I'm also just gonna do some brainstorming, and then when we touch bases again, maybe next week or sometime this week, once I get everything straightened out, I'll even go to this length of giving a little PowerPoint, little presentation, just to have some fun, because I like PowerPoint.
Oh,
And
I love
it's
PowerPoint.
amazing. We'll do a share screen, and I'll let you know, what the goals are, and we'll discuss, how we want to price this, and how to. Don't worry, you're not looking at a lot of money.
I
Just
didn't think so, especially when you said that it's a field that you're trying to break into.
yeah.
And most people, like my sister, she's trying to break into being a photographer. And, she doesn't, I figure like people who are just getting started, they're not going to charge a whole lot. But,
Exactly.
I mean, you're still in the end going to need, testimonials and other people that are going to be like, yeah, he helped, he's really good. And actually be legit about it.
That's right on the money.
And
It's
the best way
basically.
to do that is to get customers and then, like, and stuff like that. So yeah, like I said, after we get to the point of discussing pricing, I will have to talk to my husband because he's the only one that works. But
okay, I heard a grunt in the background.
because he was moving a laundry basket that's full of clothes.
I thought he was grunting at the money issue. I was going,
Oh, no.
okay, that was funny.
Don't worry, he heard a grunt in the background.
I want to help you, and this is all for me. It's I've done business consulting and life coaching, but this is practice for me for multimedia specifically. And so you're not looking at hundreds a month or anything. It's gonna we're looking at small goals and just discuss with your husband, and if we can negotiate things, if nothing else, I could work for. I'd be willing to go 25 for a milestone. And then in exchange for just a promise for a testimonial or a portfolio, something to put on my website, just to it's getting started. And the
best way is word of mouth. That's the best form of advertisement.
Yes, way to go.
And I did hire someone to design my logo and banner for me, and it was so funny because he's a kid. He's like 16, 17.
Words of mouth depends on what you're advertising.
Okay, multimedia consultant. The best thing he could do is get clients and customers that can say, yes, he helped me, he's really good, and actually be legit about it. That's the job for word of mouth.
Yeah, there you go. And it's not just word of mouth. There's
there's also like portfolios and everything else that goes along with it, like
testimonials, portfolio pieces. That all builds on credibility. That gives traction, which hopefully 2-3 years down the road, any money made off of what we're doing here is gonna go toward my me trying to get additional people involved, so we're helping each other out here. So, I'm glad we linked up. Let's keep in touch. Let's schedule something for maybe next week if we can.
Okay, that works, and I will work on coming up with the 3 goals. The 3 6-month goals at least.
Don't be too specific. Just kind of look at it as very simple, like a 1 to 2 sentence kind of thing, where you're just like, okay, well, these are the main 3 things I want to accomplish over the next 6 months, and that helps me kind of break it down into smaller milestones and pieces that will help advance on things. And in the meantime, just keep doing what you're doing. And last thing I'll say, you said you were kind of taking a break. I would do one video, a very short video, just kind of say why you're taking a break, and kind of go along with like, okay, well, you're not going to hear from me for a couple of weeks. I'm kind of trying to get things done on my own time and try to get whatever it is accomplished, and kind of look at it as, okay, well, you're gonna
basically I'm taking a break for like a week or 2 just so I can get I need to get this content up for up and everything.
Exactly. And if you need help with that, that's another area I could help with too. I've got some expertise in that, and you're a great girl, Kath, and I like talking to you. This seems like this would be a good venture for us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any questions or
I don't have any questions. Don't mind the dings that you might hear.
No, I'm getting dings from Jason Robert. I don't know who that is, but
that's in the okay, so you're getting the same dings I'm getting. Writers chat.
Why I was like, wow, that's a weird coincidence. My phone went off at the same time because it's the writers chat. Oh, I got you. Okay.
I keep Facebook up.
Yeah, I have my messenger on the phone, so I go on. I use Facebook mostly for business, but I have the writers chat. I have the DVS gaming on one chat on mute because it's just like I can't. That's like every 2 minutes it's a new ding.
Yeah.
But the writers chat, I like to stay involved because that's a little bit more simple, and it's it's I enjoy writing. I'm not in DVS gaming for just whatever. I'm there. I enjoy writing about things that just.
I've always been okay. So with you being ADHD, you also understand that we tend to lean towards one side of the brain or the other, never both.
Yep. And
mine, I think it's the right that's based more on creativity.
yes, it is, and it's I'm
Forget
left-handed.
math for me, and
Oh God, yeah, we're on the same page, sweetie.
I constantly. One time, someone was like, "Well, if you think logically," I'm like, "Dude, my brain doesn't think like that." And they're like, "What?" I said, "I'm not left-brained."
That's the logical aspects of things where you're able to calculate that. You're right on the money. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Okay, well, still, I'm like as an example, I'm left-handed. Right brain, right side of the brain controls that hemisphere. But the great thing about that is, I had a comparison in my I had a book for multimedia for school, video game design. Story I'll get to some other time. It's actually very funny, but I in the book I kind of compared. Okay, well, there's programmers and there's 3D modelers. The programmers have the left side of the brain, which is logic and math and that ability to kind of solve problems. And there's the 3D modelers and the artists for when you're developing a game who kind of need to they use the right side of the brain, the creative side. But at the same time, just like the brain works, how it's two hemispheres, they communicate with each other, and it's kind of like that was my comparison of okay, well, when you're working on a team or you're in school and you're trying to develop games, you have to understand that both are equally important. Just you have to understand that they both work in tangent. The brain the hemispheres kind of work together in that sense. So with that note, I got to get to some math homework. Great talking to you, Catherine. I
Have
appreciate
fun doing your math homework.
Oh, God help me. I hate it.
I meant that sarcastically because, believe me, I feel you. I cannot stand math. Math was my worst subject. In fact, when I was in school, I came home with the B in math. My parents took me out for they were like, okay, we're all going out. They had to celebrate.
And since college, it took me I withdrew from at least 4 math classes over the course of a 4-year period.
I really wanted to be a veterinarian, but when I looked into what it would take, the amount of math required, I said, nope.
And also, that was me with psychology. I said, okay, well, you need a PhD, and then you need 10 years of residency and internships and stuff. And I said, screw it, I'm going to study psychology, but go into marketing. It's just make it easier. So.
And the only reason why I went to school was so I could learn Photoshop.
Yeah, there you go. And you learned, and I'm sure you're very good at it too. So.
I at least know the basics, but one day I would like to know the fancy type things. I want to be able to do the glitter, the fire.
Oh, I would love that. You know what? That's something we can do down the road and learn together because I need to know that too.
Cool.
All right, it was great talking to you, Catherine. We'll stay in touch.
All right.
Yeah, have a good day.
You too. Have fun with your math homework.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. Sarcastically speaking.
Yeah. If you need any help with the math homework, let me know, and I'll stick my husband on it. I'll be like, honey, you need to go over here and help this dude because he's good at math. He helped me. Admittedly, he did my math homework for me while I was in college because I sucked at
it. You know what? I might take you up on that offer, so we'll be in touch.
Oh,
all right.
Ghost is liking the cleaner floor.
Of course he is. All right, I'll talk to you later then.
Talk to you later. Keep in touch.
All right, bye.
Tell me what she sees.